My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora, which is my people. I came across this video. Take a look at it.
In SVG, there are 3 safe houses used to house victims and survivors of gender-based violence. Victims spend a minimum of 2 days in the safe house, after which they are then moved to more permanent housing that is far from the perpetrator. Where needed, financial assistance in the form of rent, utility payments, and monthly stipends can be accessed as part of the government's victim support program. Our government champions.
In this video, Senator Kiesol Peters was speaking about the government's victim support program. And this victim support program is designed to deal with women who have suffered gender abuse. She declared that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have 3 safe houses. I don't know if this is true, but she's saying that. We'll take her word for it. She said that a victim will spend a minimum of 2 days in these safe houses, and after they have lived in these safe houses for 2 days, they are given permanent housing. They are helped with rent, utilities, and they are given a stipend so that they can live. My people. But more important than this, I want to ask Senator Peters if she was a victim of rape. And if she was a victim of rape, have she ever sought help to deal with her problems when she was a victim of gender-based violence? My people, it is important for she to answer this, because if Senator Peters was a victim of rape and we have never heard a report made to the police and an investigation was carried out, a report that Senator Peters had made, she have forfeit the first step to recovery. The first step to recovery in rape is to ensure that you out your rapist. Kiesol Peters, Senator, let the Vincentian know whether or not you are a victim of rape, and let the Vincentian community know who is your rapist. It's important for you because you are put in a very prestigious position where you are overseeing the business of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You are asked to carry in your position the burden of 100,000+ people. And if you cannot deal with your own problems, you will be inefficient in dealing with the problem of Vincentians. So, Ms. Peters, let Vincentian know, have you been a victim of rape? We notice that you are now the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that was gifted to you by Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalve, is it payment for you being silenced in the face of being raped and had to suffer the trauma in silence? Was your scholarship payment for your silence when you were raped? Senator Peters, if a victim does not seek help for his victimization, they will be unable to help anyone until they have ensured that they got the help they deserve. And the help you need, you must first start with making a report to the police. This is the first stage in the recovery of rape victims. Ms. Peters, let the Vincentian public know. Did you ever have a word with Michelle Andrews? Did you go and speak to Michelle Andrews and find out if Michelle Andrews have any underlying problem based on her victimization? Remember, every woman that was housed in those safe houses did the same thing Michelle Andrews did. They made a report of rape against someone who they claim violated them. Michelle Andrews claimed Ralph Gonsalves violated her. Ralph Gonsalves raped her. Was Michelle Andrews afforded the privilege of staying in a safe house? Was Michelle Andrews awarded the privilege of getting housing for free, for getting her rent paid, getting utility paid, and getting a stipend? You cannot be biased and segregative in your actions. The resources of government is for the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So if one member of our citizenry claimed to be raped, Michelle Andrews' report of rape was no different than the report that those other victims made. The only difference is that Michelle Andrews' aggressor confessed on national radio to sexually assaulting her. The other members of rape who stayed in the safe houses, their perpetrator have never confessed to any aspect of the allegation that was made against them. So why didn't you go and speak to Michelle Andrews and see if she have any underlying problem that must be taken care of, and you, in your capacity, help Michelle Andrews to deal with those problems? It is only fair. Michelle Andrews is a citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she is contributing to the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in her capacity. Senator Peters, you cannot help anyone unless you first help yourself. You cannot deal with people who are victims of rape unless you deal with your victimization. It is only wise. Since the government has set up a program, you need to be proactive. You need to see what you can do in your capacity to ensure that less women fall victim to these kind of behaviors within our community. That means you have to be able to identify the rapists. Unless that don't matter. Unless rape is not a serious offense. Unless those women who are raped and are victim of rape must take what they get. Take the little housing. Take the little utility bills. Take the little money for utility. And take the little stipend and close your mouth. Because that is what you did. Go in and make a report and let the world know that Michelle Andrews was not lying. Michelle Andrews must not be made to stand alone. This is what you did. Until you, Senator Peters, come clean and confess that you are a victim of rape. Until you, Senator Peters, come clean and let the nation know that not only are you a victim of rape, let them know who raped you, when, and how you dealt with it. Then you will be of help to your community. You will be of help to Vincentians. And Michelle Andrews will not feel so ostracized. She will feel that her blowing the whistle was not in vain. You can't. Let me tell you something what happened in America. Anytime you see a black person is declared the first in this, the first African American to accomplish this, the first African American senator of Georgia, the first African American this and the first African American that, especially in the political realms, they are either victim of rape, abortion people, or gay. No black person is ever promoted by the white community unless they are a reprobate, unless they are slaves that can be controlled. Senator Peters, I am declaring, I am putting it to you that you are a victim of rape. I am putting it to you that you will only start losing weight, the weight that is bothering you, The weight that you're trying hard to lose but can't lose it, you will only start losing that weight when you come out and say what happened to you, who did it, when they did it, and file a formal report. Otherwise, you are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and in the next year, you're going to die from a heart attack. That is the price you'll pay for your silence. That is the price you'll pay for all of the women who were raped after you. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most citizen.
SVG, there are 3 safe houses used to house victims and survivors of gender-based violence. Victims spend a minimum of 2 days in the safe house, after which they are then moved to more permanent housing that is far from the perpetrator. Where needed, financial assistance in the form of rent, utility payments, and monthly stipends can be accessed as part of the government's victim support program.